The fourth C, how might we be contributing to our loved ones who are struggling with addiction? Um, there's so much anxiety and frustration and sadness and anger at our loved ones. We watch the potential that they're wasting, and there's so much chaos that's created in the addictive behaviors and environment. And for me, I could see that the anxiety, reacting from a place of anxiety and frustration, were just feeding the fires. They were contributing to my son's struggle with addiction. And a story that illustrates the shift, when I first started learning that I could contribute to this, I was taking a step back. I was pausing before I was reacting. And so you could say that I was making the shift from reacting to responding. And so one time he was graduated from high school and he was looking at an apartment that was about 90 minutes away, and we had an appointment to go and look at it, and I was driving. He had lost his license. And so I had taken the day off from work, and we were leaving at this agreed upon time, and he didn't show up. And the old me would have just been totally frustrated, really angry, how unfair this was, how could he do this? And I just would have revved up with that kind of thinking, and my anxiety would have just skyrocketed. But now I knew that I had a choice, and so I paused and I consciously said, I have choices. What are my choices? My choices were, I could go to the appointment, I could go to work, or I could just stay home. And I decided that what I wanted to do was I wanted to go to the appointment, and I wanted to enjoy the day as well. And I had a relative who lived in the area, and I would visit with her, and that would make it enough, that part of the day would be uplifting for me. And so I set out a little bit past the time that we had agreed upon, and of course that's when my son Adam called me, Mom, where are you? And I said that I was on my way. And he said, can you come back and get me? And I said, no, then I would be late, and you weren't there when we said we were going to leave. And he was really surprised, and so was I. And we hung up, and part of the shift in me was my tone of voice. The old me would have been shrill, frustrated, angry, where were you, blah, blah, blah. And now I was calm, with a calm voice. I just simply said that I was going. I didn't repeat. That would be another thing the old me would have done. I was repeated over and over and over again. About the frustration, and where were you, and how come you didn't do this or that? And I didn't get into any of that. And I went and I looked at the apartment, and I set myself to enjoy the day, and I did. It was hard. I mean, I had to keep reminding myself and coming back to I had choices, and that I could choose to spiral in my mind with frustration and those kind of emotions and thoughts, or I could just try to be in a peaceful place and enjoy the day. And so I had to keep reminding myself of that, and I did enjoy it way more than I would have had it been 6 months prior. And so that was a way that I was able to step back and not add to the chaos of the addiction and our relationship. I was calmer. I wasn't freaked out. And that was helpful to me with my own self-care, and as well as it began to shift how he and I communicated, which over time became a lot more positive. So those are some ways to step back from that contributing, are to take that pause, to settle down into yourself and look at what your choices are, and including how do you want to feel? Do you want to feed the frustration and all those kinds of feelings and thoughts, or do you want to feed a more peaceful place in yourself and practice responding rather than reacting to the situations that come up? And there's a lot of situations and a lot of chaos and a lot of really unpleasant situations that come up when we love someone who's struggling with addiction. And so that's one little story that was the start of the shift that I was making in me, and it felt so much better. It didn't feel great, but it felt a heck of a lot better, and I began to take more and more of those actions as I moved forward in my own life and in my relationship with my son Adam. I hope that this little story helps you and gives you some ideas of how you can take a step back and practice responding rather than reacting to your loved one. And take good care, and you can read more about this story and contributing the fourth C in my blog that's posted on my website, transformingtojoy.com. Thanks so much.